So let's kick this dang thing off. Hello and welcome to The Load In, a United Theater podcast. I'm your host, Lee Metzger, and I am broadcasting you live to tape from the Micro Cinema at the theater. One of our beautiful cinemas, one of our three beautiful cinemas that you're able to just walk in here. You can come in, check out a movie, sit down, listen to the previews, watch the trailers, and then you're going to see a movie. It's going to be pretty cool. Speaking of movies, I want to give a quick shout out to our unofficial sponsor this week, which of course is 80 for Brady. 80 for Brady, a movie about four beautiful older women who love Tom Brady, much like myself. So speaking of movies, we have some holdovers from last week and some that we talked about last week. If you remember, we talked about 80 for Brady for sure, which is coming up, so chill out. But last week we talked about The Fabelmans. We talked about All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. We talked about A Man Called Otto. Unfortunately, Puss in Boots has left us. It was sad, but apparently 9 lives was just enough. So I look forward to having that back, which we should. In all honesty, we should have it come back because we are doing a thing where we're doing a special Oscars ticketing thing that I'll get into more a little bit later. So we'll get into it. But Puss in Boots was nominated for Best Animated, so, you know, should be coming back. But alas. So movies that are coming up soon, we're going to have Broker, which is that movie that we spoke about last week as well, and 80 for Brady. I mean, I was kind of like, oh, you know, this movie doesn't look like it's made for me, but I feel like it might be. I feel like this is the kind of movie where I'm going to ho-hum it, and then I'm going to get in the theater, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to cry. Yeah, I'm going to cry. I bet it's going to be heartfelt. I bet it's going to be funny. I bet it's going to be lighthearted and fun. That's the thing, you guys. Movies should be fun. And movies can also be important and poignant and tell an intriguing story and make you think about something in a different way. But fun movies, it's okay to be fun. It's okay just to be like the only reason this movie was made was for it to be fun and for it to be nice and for it to feel good. Speaking of feeling good, one movie that people have been feeling good about is A Man Called Otto, which has been crushing it recently. The movie is, you want to talk about sentimental. And, the movie is all about this gentleman whose heart basically melts from the kindness of strangers. So it's really good. And, especially around this time of year where the sun is setting early and it's kind of wet and cold and gross out, it's important to feel good, feel sentimental sometimes. And you know what? Get out a good cry. So we are rocking with our neighborhood watch some more. This coming week, we've got The Player by Robert Altman. Continuing our movies about movies or movies about movie production. We're still continuing with that. This one, people will recognize the name Robert Altman. This is written by Michael Tolkien, not that Tolkien, nerds. But this movie is about Tim Robbins. He plays an exec who he's getting like death threats from a writer, and he has rejected so many writers, so many scripts that he doesn't really know who's writing these. So he's like, he has got a pretty good idea, or he thinks he does. And then he goes and has a certain experience that makes things a little bit more difficult. So definitely give that a shot. That's our neighborhood watch. And we're doing another rewind. This one coming up is Gone with the Wind. I'm sure you recognize it. This is directed by David O. Selznick, not Russell, and stars Vivian Leigh, Clark Gable, and Hattie McDaniels, and a bunch of other people. You know, it takes place in the Civil War. It's a classic. It's almost 100 years old, which is pretty wild. That's an old movie. 80 for Brady, more like 100 for Gable. And then, so the Oscars. Let's talk about the Oscars. The Oscars are coming up. The nominations came out last week, or maybe a little bit over last week by the time you're listening/watching this. So when all the nominations came out, we decided, hey, you know, let's bring back some of these movies for a limited run. Maybe they can play once or twice and people can come by and see all the nominations, because I feel like when these nominations drop, it's mostly for me, like, I don't know over half of, I've never heard of a bulk of these films, and it's not just the international ones. You know, there's like all the documentaries, all the shorts, no clue. All the animated shorts, no idea. All the live action, all the shorts in general, no idea. I've never heard of them until the nominations drop. And if you're anything like me, you're going to want to see those. Luckily, we have packaged those shorts into basically the length of a movie. And also, speaking of packaging, we've also packaged all of the movies together. So you can go online and you can buy this certain package, this Oscars package. Basically what it is it's a ticket that'll get you into a showing of all of these movies that are coming back for one night only or two night only, or, you know, limited runs. It'll get you a seat in all of these films. This pass gets you into 15 films. It's reasonably priced at $75. So they're all repertory prices, so it's much cheaper. And then $75 gets you into 15 movies, pretty cut and dry, and they're all critically acclaimed. You know, they're all nominated for Oscars, except for Puss in Boots. I'm looking here now. Where's Puss in Boots? Strangely absent. I will be talking to somebody about this. I promise you. But we're having a bunch of them back, man. It's gonna be sweet. We've got Elvis, Top Gun Maverick, To Leslie, which I'd never heard of. I'll let you know which ones I've never heard of. I've heard of Elvis. I've heard of Top Gun. I've never heard of To Leslie until last week. Banshees of Inisherin, we had that. All Quiet on the Western Front. I didn't know they were remaking that. That's a book and a movie, I think. After Sun, never heard of it. Everything Everywhere All at Once. That movie rules. I have heard of that, and I've seen it a bunch because we had it months ago. And ooh-wee. Blonde, haven't seen it. Tar, we had that. Triangle of Sadness, we had. And then here are the Fablemans we have right now. The Whale is coming out. As you're hearing this, it's coming out either on Thursday or Friday of this week that you're hearing this. And then we have all the Oscar-nominated shorts. We have the live-action documentary and the animated shorts. So yeah, definitely check those out. But yeah, I can't recommend enough getting these the pass, because you have a guaranteed spot to see all these films that are all critically acclaimed. Some guy Oscar likes them, so come check them out. Speaking of Oscar films, you know what? Actually, I don't know this. Did When Harry Met Sally, did that win an Oscar? I don't know. Is there a romantic comedy Oscar? I know there's comedy Oscar, and I don't know if there's a romance one. Man, I should probably look into that. But yeah, so we're doing another is this a neighborhood watch deal? I don't know, but you know what it is? It's a Valentine's Day deal. So we're gonna have When Harry Met Sally come in, and this is a Rob Reiner movie written by Nora Ephron. This movie rules. I didn't get it. I hated it. The first time I saw it, I didn't like it at all. And then I watched it again. And then I liked it a lot. This movie, it goes into whether men and women can ever be friends, just friends, instead of like having some romantic inclination. Is it possible for men and women to just be friends? Watch the movie and find out. You'll probably recognize there's a scene in this film where Helen Hunt, Meg Ryan. Ooh. It was a certain time, you know, it's the 90s. They were in every single movie. I can be forgiven for messing up Meg Ryan and Helen Hunt. It's not the first time it's happened, and it's going to happen more, which is how that phrase goes. But anyway, Meg Ryan has this huge reaction to a piece of pie, a dessert, and then, you know, it ends with that, I'll have what she's having. That's from that movie. So for events coming up, we are kind of slow on events right around now. You would know it by being here, though, because the place is abuzz. We have a bunch of events that we just announced on our Instagram, on our Facebook. You need to be following those, by the way, if you want to be kept abreast of the information that's coming out. It's a slurry. It's an informational slurry. So yeah, be following those. But yeah, we've got a bunch of concerts that just got announced in spring, starting in like March, mid-March. We've got Wood Brothers and we have Watch House. And then in April, we have Langhorne Slim and John Craigie, and that's a folk duo. They performed at Newport Folk Fest. They performed at Newport Folk Festival, and they're going to be here performing for us as well, for you, if you buy tickets. So that's really dope. We're going to have, I mean, sure, it's a bunch of folk musicians, but that's kind of, you know, that's what we do here. Folk. We're just a bunch of folks doing folksy things. So you have that to look forward to. Buy tickets now. That's the thing. I always encourage people, if you have the ability to buy tickets to something today, buy them. Just buy them. Worst case scenario, you can't go, and you're the only thing that the only organization that benefits from that is the theater itself. It's a donation. So even if you purchase a ticket and you can't attend, either one, hand it off to a friend, and pay it forward, keep that thing moving, or take solace that you've now participated in donating to a charitable cause, to your local nonprofit, local theater, the United Theater, where dreams come to be united with the community through the arts. Nailed it. The biggest event that we have, well, not the biggest, but the event that I may be most excited about, we have the good old Providence Improv Guild coming back to do a little show. And it's not little, it's regular sized, and by regular I mean it's the reasonable size for an improv show to be. Last time we had an opener, a little bit of a break, and then another, and then the closer coming in. Not Kira Sedgwick, but another improv group. The sun just got pretty bright, and hopefully it'll stop cooking me. And there it goes. Providence Improv Guild, of course, based out of Providence. We've partnered with them on multiple shows now. Everything has been excellent with them. It's a show that I host, so you'll get to see and hear the dulcet tones and dulcet features of my face and body if you go to that show. What a weird way to describe just looking and experiencing someone. But yeah, it's going to be a good show. The same day is a workshop. We're going to be doing a beginner's workshop hosted by a gentleman named Ian Martin. He is from Providence Improv Guild. He's a sweet guy. He's intrigued by the notion of spreading improv to those that may not even have thought of it being an option for them. You don't need to want to get up on stage to take an improv workshop. It's just another tool to have in your tool belt if you're thinking of how to exist in the world. Improv helps you talk to people. It helps you with your confidence. It helps all sorts of ways, and everybody would benefit by at least taking one class and taking this workshop. So I highly recommend it. I think my mom's going to take it, to be straight up with you. So that's kind of cool. Do you want to take a class with my mom? Because she's going to be taking that workshop. And if you're interested, you can too. Link in bio. But that's the 11th of February. So look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. I actually might take the class too. There were a couple of people here at the theater who might be taking. If you just want to get involved with the theater, take that class, because I think it's going to be a who's who of people. But I don't know why I'm saying that. That's probably not true at all. But whatever. Go or don't go. It's happening anyway. Unless it doesn't. So yeah, the workshop's going to be great. And then the show is going to be awesome too. If you take the workshop, you don't have to perform or anything. There's no audience. It's just you and the teacher and the other people who are taking the class. So I think it would benefit anybody who wants to take it. So consider it. And I think that kind of brings everything to a close here. All right, so you've been listening to The Load In. Thanks so much for tuning in today and this evening. And make sure to come on down to the United Theater. Come check out what we got here. Come listen to watch some movies. And yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure to rate and review this podcast on your things that you do it on. And leave a review, and I'll read it on live on the air. So thanks again for listening. My name is Lee, and this is the show.